I'm Ariana.
And my name's Ryan.
And this is
I Wear Grippy Socks.
She wears no strings, I wear grippy socks. She's in the psych ward, I'm in the detox.
A mental health podcast by two know-nothing millennials from a seriously non-clinical viewpoint.
This episode may contain graphic content, so please be advised.
And remember,
thank you for being here. Welcome back to another episode of I Wear Grippy Socks. We're excited you guys are here listening with us again.
Hey.
This is kind of going to be a maybe a little emotional, maybe just hopefully a little bit honoring. Our grandfather this past Thursday is no longer with us. He has been taking his last breath at 100.
Yep.
So he's lived a wonderful life, but he would have been 101 this coming Friday next Friday, I guess, the 11th of February. So he's lived this beautiful life, but we kind of wanted to come on here and just kind of tell you how we felt and how these kind of emotions have been super, for sure me. I mean, I've been on a full roller coaster of emotions. I've cried so much this week, but it's really this, like, I think kind of weird, strange, bittersweet feeling for both of us, because like we said, he was 100 years old, so he has lived an incredible life. He was born in 1921, so super old.
Super old.
Yeah, like I think most people actually remember when I first went to he got sick at the beginning of this past year, and I went to the pharmacy to go pick up his medicine, and they asked for the birthdays, and they asked for his birthday, and I said February 11th 21, and she assumed that he was a baby. It was like a newborn child, because I didn't say 1921 instead of 2020. So yeah, I thought that was so hilarious, so weird, bizarre.
That is hilarious. Yeah, it's been interesting, I guess, getting to know the man over the last 2 years, because we didn't really, we didn't come down here very often to Florida to visit. So I didn't know him that well. I just knew that the man was old, from the get-go. I mean, he was old. And I feel like every time we left, I was like, this could be the last time I ever see this man. And then ever since I've been here, I didn't think we would ever lose him. And it's been very shocking, I would say.
Yeah, I think there was a big kind of like he kind of passed sort of suddenly, as sudden as a 100-year-old can pass. But it was there was a lot of times, even at the like we were saying at the beginning of this past year, he actually got COVID. Mm-hmm. So he's been up and down, I would say, since even our grandma passed in 2018. There was so many other incidents when I really thought, okay, this would be it. Not this one. This was not it. I don't know, but he had been speaking about in the last 2 months of his life, really, like, he'd never been a person to speak about. He said I was going to live forever, and he's like, I don't want to die yet. And this past 2 months, he was really on the acceptance side of things, and that was just definitely a different path, because I'm telling you, the man, you would have thought he would have lived forever. He was still super witty. I mean, his brain, like, we've been cleaning out the place and his apartment, and every person is like, we're gonna miss him, all his jokes. Like, he always can make you smile, even if he was a little aggressive with the ladies, but they loved it. Flirty, as they say. Yes, they were gonna miss his flirty attitude.
I know, that is pretty funny.
Yeah, he always had something to say, but I just really do feel it's weird for me, because I kind of took on the role as a caregiver for my grandma and my grandpa since the beginning of 2018 is kind of when I took on that role. And it's definitely a strange thing of relief and sadness. I've been all over the map on, like I said, the true roller coaster, and like dealing with grief, and like howling to how to accept it. And I feel like I was, turning to look to do some more, I don't want to say research, but kind of looking to find some more answers, and kind of felt more relatable, or felt, that validation of maybe what I was feeling, because I feel like my temper has, to be honest, just been tenfold. I mean, I've been super sensitive. I usually feel like I can handle a lot more emotions than I've been able to, ever really, essentially. And I do feel bad. So I'm sorry I had apologized to Ryan even. Me and my mom never get in fights, and I mean, we never get in like argument fights, and me and her went at it, and things are a bit better now. But that's what I was kind of looking at. And, they talk about like these like 5 stages of grief, and I was feeling weird, like it didn't necessarily though pertain, but it does, because he was so old, and it wasn't like you were losing someone who is, your parent or a friend or a lover. It's someone who was ready, who was already accepting of going. And, but I am going through those stages, so I just for reference, they list them as like, you go through denial, like, first not like saying it's real, and then anger, which I will say that I probably definitely relate to. And then comes like bargaining. So like, if they were back here, this would be different or stuff like that. And I guess I'm definitely finding myself even doing that. And then the depression, that's already there. And then after a while, you finally get the acceptance of it all, really just like, okay, it has happened. For me, I feel like this is going to be a long kind of acceptance, just because, I didn't see him every day at this point, but he called me at least once a day, if not, every other day. And,
Quite
we went
often.
up. Yeah, exactly. And I've gone up to them for years, once a week for years. And I will have to say, shout out to my mom. She's been like an amazing person for them too. My mom is not her father, but she's been a great mom to make sure that I was like had my grandparents in my life completely. And so she's also emotionally distraught. We all are, obviously.
It's been
and I know
very stressful, yeah.
Yeah, you got to take him to church all the time with his ladies.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. Yeah, I was helping him. I don't know if I was helping him, but
You were.
I was helping him play women, I guess, or try to anyway.
The wingman. Everyone needs a wingman.
You think that men change? They just don't. We just don't change. I mean,
eventually, I think it's more they revert back to the old ways. But it's about the behavior, and everyone loved him somewhat for that. So maybe
for
it's
sure,
bad.
honestly, yeah.
I'm telling you, he got special attention for sure, just because of his charisma.
Yeah, he was an interesting character for sure.
Yeah, he would always be trying to play off. Always to the grandsons. I mean, even for years and years and years, they weren't even here, and we'd be with the waitresses and be like, "Well, I have 3 grandsons."
That used to embarrass me so much. I used to get so embarrassed. I used to hate going out when he would do that. And now I'm like,
Shit.
It was funny.
Yeah, I know. That's always you always like. It's that once again goes back into that somewhat of like the things that you were super annoyed with.
Yeah.
Like I loved him, but he was definitely like I said, 100-year-old. So he got some sass to him, and it's super hard watching, for sure. What I've learned a lot too, watching people regress, that's tough. Like the older generation, they need lots of love, because they don't. They're pissed off their body isn't working anymore. And, the more confusing things get, the less you can remember how irritating that is. Like, and our grandpa was into finances. He was like an accountant type deal. So he was super on. Actually, something really funny. We just cleaned out his apartment, and he had already an agreement with one of the local crematoriums. Like they had, and I found the paperwork. So he started writing checks. So him and my grandma would be, buried and, done that whole process a certain way. From 1998, he wrote his first check, and I found all
That's
the
crazy.
checks, every single check he wrote. Like he saved, because he was so into his accounting, his numbers, making sure everything was, checks and
Can't
balanced.
relate.
Yeah, I'm like totally opposite of that. I wish I
real.
was so good as him. Like, there's things he have to organize. Like, it really is freaking insane. But watching him though slip from that, like he held on tight, obviously, to you don't. It's like when you start having to take away driving privileges, and how like upsetting that is because it's taking away that independency.
Upsetting. It's very upsetting.
It's taking away independence. Yeah, and then being told you can't. He drove until 99 though.
He was whipping it.
Yeah, maybe he shouldn't have drove, but he was. And though his license said he could drive till 102, so it's
Drive
crazy.
through a Walgreens or something.
Yeah, he was insane. But we just really wanted to come on here this week and just I for sure personally, and I know Ryan is going through stuff too, but it's been a very, very tough week. Technically, tomorrow will be one whole week without him, and you have no idea how much tears I've cried. But they're like, rejoice. And yeah, my eyes were almost swollen shut one of the days. It was not lovely. But it's also beautiful because he's with my grandma. You know, whatever you believe in, he is definitely resting now. And I think there is some beauty for sure in that. He lived, like we said, almost 101, and he was super into parties. So we're actually doing his service on his birthday.
Hey.
So one last party with everyone getting together, and how many stressful that was. He always wanted a party. I love him, but there was always the party to be had. And so we'll be having one last party with him on his birthday that's coming up on the 11th. And it'll be good. All the family's coming down, and I think that, you know, one of the things with funerals is bittersweet because then you at least get everyone all together as a family. And it's been a while since all of us have really been together. Yeah. So, and that was my concern when I was talking to your mom. I was like, it's going to be sad I told her when Stella had passed that I was nervous how much I was going to see you guys again or her because they're they're the main reason they're coming down to visit, which it's totally understandable, you know, the parents and the grandparents. But, you know, it'll be good to have the gang back together. That's and right. All that. Though we do plan on doing a tribute episode completely to him.
Hey.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. We didn't want to rush it, obviously. So this is why we wanted to come just kind of give you a little like talk about it. But we want to do a whole tribute video. We got lots of. We attempted one time to do an episode with him, but his memory is definitely a bit slipping. So we're gonna try to do an awesome mashup. He actually is a World War II veteran. He jumped out at had to bail out 2 different times, broke his neck on one of them. So he's lived in 12 different countries and visited 43 countries. So he's crazy. Lived this, I mean, amazing life that a lot of people will, you know, the things you've seen in 100 years. It's insane. It really is. There was no cell phones, no internet. He's seen the cars really come to a whole different, like, you know what I mean? Like, so much has happened.
I know. My man's old as hell.
I know. What did you remember? It was something that your brother said.
I can't remember.
Something along the lines of like, his brother's 30 and he's like, I've only literally known him for only 30 years of like 100, and that seems like, he's like father time essentially. Like it's definitely bizarre. But we're gonna do a little tribute video and podcast to him. And we also are working on finalizing. We're going to try to do in honor of him, some different Grippy sock colors.
That's right.
So you'll have to keep an eye out for those. And we're going to donate the partial of the socks that we make from them. For every sock we sell, we're going to give to the VA. Yes. And be able to hopefully give back to the veterans in honor of our Purple Heart earning amazing grandfather.
The GOAT.
Yeah, he was great.
That's right.
But I don't know if there's anything else you want to add.
No, I mean, thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone who's reached out. Said nice things.
It is very, very like comforting to know people are there and also care and yeah. So thanks for following along, and we do apologize if there's been any inconveniences for any of this. I feel like we've been doing decent. Definitely Ryan has definitely helped and stepped up to the plate really great, as I've been, like I said, an emotional hot mess express over here. Hey. But hopefully we're gonna keep going up from here.
That's right.
Do it for Papa.
That's right.
So I hope you guys have a great day, and if you're dealing with grief or sadness, no, you're not alone. The days are gonna get better. And there'll be, I feel like now it's getting to it's not crying nonstop, but it just comes in those waves. You look at something, you're like, oh, I'm dumb. So, yeah, you're not
Every
alone.
time I look at a waitress, I get upset.
Just like he could have hit on her, but he's not. Oh my God. I'm dead. Or he is.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, do that. See, now here comes the dark humor.
All right.
On that note, we definitely probably should go.
Okay.
But, all right,
Take care, everyone.
Thank you for being here.
Cut.